recording audio.
Well, Dominic, welcome to a session on the ARTbop show, and thank you very much for coming. This is Cellist Dominic Lee, who's recently done a tauranga concert and is shortly to go off and study in New York. So, Dominic, tell us about the tauranga concert. How did it go for you?
Oh, well, it was such an amazing experience, and I think it was a great opportunity for me to once again perform for the tauranga family, I guess. I was very fortunate to have so many people turn up, and yeah, I think it was a great event.
It was a sellout.
Yes, it was more than a sellout, I believe. Yeah.
So who do you think of as your tauranga family?
I guess it was everyone that's come to my concert before, when I lived in Tauranga from when I was very young, and all my past kind of music colleagues, and I guess everyone in Tauranga. Yeah.
But there were new people from Tauranga because I was new to you.
Ah, yes.
So who are you reaching out to?
I guess everyone that has always, what's the word? Maybe always looked out for me, kind of heard me before, and yeah.
Well, I had heard of you before.
Yes.
But I'd never heard the playing.
Yes.
So tell me, as someone who came new to the concert, why you called it Grazia.
So Grazia is an Italian term for grace. So grace, I guess, has a wide range of meanings, but mostly it was love, I think, kind of related to love. And I guess Tauranga made me feel lots of that. And yeah, it was a great foundation for me to start other musical things abroad. Yeah.
And you saying Tauranga was a great foundation. Tell us a little bit about the foundation.
So I guess there was many people who, when I first started playing the cello, who really believed, I guess, in me and encouraged me, and that's kind of I think that was the thing that kind of triggered me into making cello my passion. So yeah, all the warmth that Tauranga people have. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you put the concert Grazia Grace together? Where did you start?
So I think it was 2 months ago. It was when I kind of finally decided, yes, I'll study at the Eastman School of Music. I thought I wanted to really have a chance to thank everyone that's supported me in the past, and people who are who will be interested in supporting me in the future. So I wanted to hold an event and invite many friends, sponsors, and any kind of supporter, I guess, of my musical journey, to come and enjoy an afternoon of, exciting music. Yeah.
And the Bethlehem College was obviously a key player in this. So,
yes.
I mean, this is really... I'm trying to get down to the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah.
Putting an event like this together is not a small thing.
Yeah.
Where did you start?
Oh, so where I started? Well, I did get a lot of support from friends that helped me make this concert happen. I had Mr. Crosby, the principal of Bethlehem College.
Did you ring him up?
Yeah, I went suddenly.
Hey, Mr. Crosby, I've had this fantastic idea.
Yeah, I kind of turned up to his office one day. He was very surprised to see me. Suddenly in his office.
Left the school.
Yes, I left the school in 2013.
There you go.
So he was quite surprised to see me again. And I told him about my idea, and he was, I think he was very happy with it, and he supported me by coming to my concert and praying for the concert, and just starting off the concert by introducing a little bit about myself. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was only the start. So where
Yes.
did the rest of the
Yeah.
crew come from?
So I guess it was my family that did lots of the organising for the concert.
Your mother.
My mother, yes, had to practice lots of new notes for the repertoire that I suddenly threw at her. My friends who were bodyguards, I guess, not just physically, but also, just getting everything around quite well, nicely. And yeah, I think I did most of the repertoire, choosing the repertoire for guest artists and myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I gave them kind of like a brief kind of idea of the atmosphere I wanted, and I asked them to choose something appropriate for that atmosphere.
So tell me some more about that, because I'm interested in the choice of content for that concert.
Yes.
So how did you brief them? What did you ask?
So for what I did with my repertoire was I did pieces that came close to my heart. So pieces that had a special meaning to me. And I wanted to make the concert a real opportunity for performers to engage with audience members that are not quite used to classical music. So
Right.
I wanted to perform music which was maybe not too, deep kind of, or too technical, but something that really had, what's the word, that thing that people in the audience could really connect to, and be a part of. Yeah. So that's what I told the guest performers, and that kind of made them think, and yeah, they asked me, "Oh, do you think this would be appropriate?" And I went on YouTube and looked at the pieces. They were all very, 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 very appropriate, I thought.
So you didn't say no to any of them?
No, yeah, I didn't say no to any of them.
Okay.
They were all, I think, perfect in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm interested in the connection.
Yes.
This was a concert
Yeah.
of grace.
Yes.
And you gave the performers the grace of choice.
Yes.
And you were looking for the audience to feel the grace of acceptance.
Yeah.
So the content, would there have been a piece that wouldn't have worked for you?
That wouldn't have worked for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I think something like, well, obviously there's a lot, I guess, that couldn't have worked.
Well, we wouldn't have had post-punk cello.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Or maybe something too deep with, something like too modern, maybe. I think that would be kind of hard to try to communicate to non-musically educated audience members.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do something not simple, but something with that emotion that everyone could relate to. Because I, as a musician, believe I'm not the only one performing. I think it's a whole process where the audience is also a part of the musicking. Yeah.
So, what we got in that concert was classical
Yes.
repertoire of classic cello pieces,
Yep.
like this one.
Yes.
Didn't get any Bach.
Yes.
Now, why was that?
Yeah, that was that was something quite odd, I guess, for any recital. I did have that on the plan at the start, but there was so many repertoire that I had to let some go.
Would you have liked to have played some Bach?
Yes, I think for the very start of the concert, just to heat stuff up. Yeah, I think that would have been very good.
So thinking back on the concert, there are some things you would do differently?
Do differently? I think I would... Well, firstly, I think I'll probably get a bigger venue. Yeah.
There is that.
Yeah. And secondly, I guess slightly better organization, I guess, from myself with emceeing and trying to organize everything together.
Did you feel the strain of organizing as well as performing?
Kind of, yes. I kind of, yeah, I guess not too much, but slightly, yes. Yeah.
So as a performer, that concert was an acknowledged success. Did you think so for yourself?
Yes, I was very happy with the concert,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And were you happy with your own playing?
Yes, I think, well, there's always room for improvement, but I think, I think it was very good.
So you were playing with your family.
Yes.
Tell us about how it feels to have your family as co-performers.
So that's very interesting, and I think I feel most comfortable when performing with them. So there's something about performing with the family that, there's that telepathy going on between us, I guess. So even with the slightest different eye contact, like my sister, for instance, knows if I'm going to slow down or if I'm going to do something cheesy or if I'm going to do something different. I think she picks it up quite quickly because she knows a lot about myself. Yeah.
And your mum?
Oh, and my mum, yes. So I've performed with her pretty much the whole time I've been performing cello. And, she's been one of the key person who has really developed me. She, like, when I practiced with her and there was something wrong, I always was struggling, what should I do at this passage? Because she was an opera singer in Korea, she always sung me the phrases, because I believe as a cellist, we're trying to imitate the human voice, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
We were talking about that on the way here,
Yes.
weren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
So she was obviously important in explaining orally to you how the music should sound.
Yes.
So where did you first come across music? Did you come across it from the sound, or did you see a line of black notes on a stave?
To be honest, I'm not a big fan of sight reading or reading music off the page, although it is one of the main.
You've got to have it.
Yeah, it is the main. But what I did in the past is I always listened to the music a lot over and over and again, because each listening seemed different to me, and I think that was one technique what I did that helped me greatly to perform. Yeah.
So thinking back to those early times, were you playing on a baby cello?
Yes, a quarter-sized cello.
Okay.
So I think I had a video of when I was young behind me when I was performing at that concert. So it was a baby cello. And I remember my first concert, I was very nervous. I was hiding behind the small cello. Yeah. Yeah.
So when did it feel as though there you are safely playing with your mum on one side on the piano and your sister on an even babier violin playing on the other. When did it start to feel as though it had gelled for you as a musician?
So at the start, I guess it was kind of like a game to me. So I did it for fun, and it was just like a game. How little kids would play with toys. Cello was, I guess, a toy to me. And when I slowly progressed, I met a teacher called Sally Ann Brown, who lives on Waiheke Island. She caught a ferry and drove down to Hamilton to give me lessons. And from then on,
So hang on a second. So you were in Tauranga,
yes,
and she's on Waiheke,
yes,
and you meet up in Hamilton.
Hamilton, yes.
So you
every fortnight
at age
It was from when I was, I think, 9 years old.
9 can have lessons.
Yes.
Now that's commitment.
That was very big commitment, even from my mum driving.
And did she
the
play
teacher.
to accompany you for these lessons, or were they absolutely classes of the, now you put your fingers here and now you scrape your bow there?
Yeah, it was mainly classes, but every so often my cello teacher asked my mum to come accompany myself. Yeah.
From 9?
From age 9.
Right. And now, that's still a toy.
Yes.
That's still a game. When did you start to feel it has gelled as an experience in musicianship?
Yes. So at one point, I think, I know, I think it kind of developed. It wasn't suddenly one kind of boom and it's there. I think it was all that process, I think.
But from 9 to 14, 15, you started to take it seriously.
Yes, yeah. And then I met Edith Saltzman, who was the cello lecturer at Canterbury University, now in Auckland University. Mm-hmm. And then, because before I met Edith, I was just a hard-working cello student, I guess. And then when I met Edith, she was very musically different to what I was used to before. And she had lots of different ideas. She had even, not just musically, but also very with the social kind of area. And she kind of persuaded me that I should do international competitions and kind of bring my talent not only in New Zealand, in Tauranga, but also kind of spread it out more in New Zealand and internationally. So she invited me to join the Pitman Music Academy, which is a national junior academy for young musicians to develop their skills as musicians in New Zealand and abroad. And when I joined that program, I started to compete in the competitions in Italy and South Korea, and I was lucky enough to be awarded first prize in those competitions. And then, from after that...
Did that kind of validate the music you were making for you, those competitions?
Yes.
Or did you... I'm interested in the artistic side of this rather than the competitive, let's just notch up the achievements thing. I'm trying to get to the point where you thought, I'm a serious musician.
Yes.
So when I mean, it may have been a gradual thing, but was there a moment where you realised that not only Edith, but you were taking yourself seriously as a musician?
Yes. Yep. So I think it was when I was in intermediate school in Bethlehem College. I, at one point, suddenly broke my left arm, the bone. I was in the playground, and suddenly broke my arm. And for, I think, 1 week, I couldn't play the cello. Mm-hmm. And during that 1 week, without playing the cello, something felt weird. Like, it felt as if the world was grey. And something didn't feel comfortable for me without playing the cello and performing in front of people. So I think at that point I knew that I've been addicted to this cello and I can't stop now.
Right. Yes. And you can't stop.
Yeah. It seems like a part of me, I guess, now.
Yeah. Like many people, I've been listening to the readings on national radio about the creation of the Shostakovich symphony in the siege of Stalingrad.
Yes.
Leningrad.
Yeah.
And there's a character in the novel who is a little girl who is addicted to the cello and happily does survive, and so does the cello, even happier. And I'm just interested because it seems to be an instrument that gets you young.
Yeah.
You either know you're a cellist when you're early in life,
Yep.
or do you think that's just a fancy notion of mine. Do you think the cello's an instrument for everyone?
I guess, yeah, I think cello's the best instrument in the world. I don't know what other, instrumentalists will say about that, but yeah, yeah.
So there you were, broken wrist,
Yep.
no cello for you,
Yeah.
feeling deprived,
Yeah.
and yet you've said that all the time, and you said this at the concert, that your cello playing is a gift from God.
Yes.
So can we talk a little bit about your relationship between the talent that you show and the fact that you think it's literally God-given?
Yes.
You're deeply Christian.
Yes.
Your family are all Christian.
Yes.
So how has that influenced your development as a musician?
Yeah, so I think I've always been a Christian, but mostly I think the first big kind of time when I've really realized that God was in control of me was when I was just before I was about to perform in Italy in the competition.
Mm-hmm.
I was all nervous, and and it was just before I performed, and all I could do, I guess, at that point was pray. So I prayed that I'll be able to feel His presence when I'm performing on stage that day. And all of a sudden, because it was a very sunny day outside, but suddenly thunder kind of struck and it was raining, and then the lights of the hall went off. And then at that point, even though it was scary, I kind of felt more comfortable, and it made me perform, I think, the best I performed yet till that time. And yeah, at that point, I really knew that, He's always with me, and He has a plan for my gift that He's given me. So from then on, I really performed for the glory of God, not for my kind of glory, I guess, but for glory of God and other people. Yeah.
And yet, and I'm going just on the concert,
Yep.
there was no religious or liturgical music in the concert.
Yeah.
Was that just an accident of the choices that you gave the musicians, as you described? Or, I mean, how do you feel about playing what we might loosely call church music?
It's very good, I think, to perform church music. I think most of Bach's works on the right-hand corner at the bottom, it says "for the glory of God." So I guess it's very religious in that kind of point. But yeah, I mean, I also performed the keyboard at church. So performing church music, I think, is very comforting, I think, to me all the time. Yeah.
Comforting how?
So I think, so for an example, I think when I perform like a major work, for instance, a concerto, and I finish performing, there's always that feeling that, as each performer has, that I kind of feel like, I could have done better in this bit or this bit. But when I kind of perform church music, and it's, really performing for His glory, no matter how, many mistakes I made, I always kind of feel quite full and kind of, quite proud of what I've performed. So yeah, I think that's the main kind of difference.
And what makes the difference? Is there a difference in context between playing in church and playing in a concert?
Yes, I guess the context is very different. I mean, in concerts there's lots of critics that come as well. But yeah, I mean, there's also many similarities. I mean, it's, everyone's a part of the music, and yeah, I think, yeah, so, that's a interesting point that I've never thought of, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it will be interesting, Dominic, to see how your career takes you through the critical apparatus that is the modern classical music scene, and that other avenue of, like Bach,
Yes.
playing for the glory of God.
Yes.
I often think of the good citizens of Leipzig stumbling along in the winter saying, blinking old Bach, we've got this Easter oratorio, what's he going to serve up to us today?
Yeah.
And we've got to sing it. And he was entirely dedicated, really, to liturgical music, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Have you any ambition to limit your repertoire?
No. I like a wide variety of pieces. For instance, Shostakovich, which I performed.
I want to talk to you about Shostakovich.
Yeah, it's my favourite composer.
And he's entirely secular and a product of
very
the
different.
Russian Revolution.
Yeah. Yes, and he's also my favourite composer. Even
Why?
though I don't know, with his music, I think it has everything in it. It has humour, it has love, it has beauty, it has darkness, it has anger. I think maybe it's because I'm 17 right now and, there's lots of things going inside my body. Maybe I relate to them a lot, but I love how he's very sarcastic with his music as well. Yeah, something about Shostakovich, I think, that has something special about it.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing. His music, of course, had to adapt hugely to the political context. And maybe that's something that young men in particular have to think about a lot.
Yeah.
Old men like Bach, well, maybe Bach politically adapted too, who can say, but I'm interested that you so early in your career have nailed your colours to Shostakovich as your favourite composer. Do you think that'll stay true for all time?
I'm not sure for all time, but at the moment, I'm sure it will go for many years to come.
So you've got some exploration to do.
Yes, I still have much more to explore.
What's your next big project, Shostakovich-wise?
Shostakovich-wise, I want to finish his whole sonatas, I guess. So I've done movements of it, but not the complete work. So I'll be very excited to see what that has in store for me. Yeah.
And his other cello works?
His other cello works. I've performed the concerto and one of his piano trios, his piano trio number 2, which is very, very intense. But I've wanted to perform his piano trio number 1, also called as Trio Poem, which was composed by Shostakovich when he was around 17, I believe.
So about your age.
About my age. So I'll be very excited to see what he was like musically when he was my age. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty experimental, I think.
Yeah.
and poking into dark corners.
Yes, all sorts of corners.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's interesting and he is an exciting.
Yes, very exciting.
Even when he was being most politically correct in Soviet terms. Still quite exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah. You never know what corner he's going to turn next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lady Macbeth of Mstensk
yes.
was performed in New York last year.
Yes.
And although it was deeply approved of initially by the Soviets, it didn't go so well in New York.
Yeah.
Although the lead singer was apparently superb. It was a pretty grim production, it sounds like.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah. So tell me where I know he's exciting, and I know he's been composing for a long time, from an early age. So where is the major attraction for from Shostakovich for you? Is it what would you put your interest down to right now?
Right now, I think his cello concerto that he composed is still kind of my favourite kind of work. And I've got to research that piece quite closely last year, and it was very, 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 very interesting, and it made me think even more as a musician in it. Yeah.
Right. So thinking as a musician, What did it summon up for you? Was it technical challenges, or is it in the musicianship, making sense of the work as a whole?
I think
Which bit?
Yeah,
or both?
I guess technique maybe slightly, but I think it's more finding inside the music, the motifs, the emotions, trying to grab the things out of the music. I think that was the main kind of thing that's
So
important.
it's in the music.
Yeah,
It's the study of the music.
Yep.
And you do that by listening to it.
Listening, and now also just reading the score without any music, and just saying, oh, this kind of pattern is kind of repetitive here and there and there, and then I find out, oh, why it might be like that, and yeah.
Oh well, so did you invent this method of coming to the music by yourself, or are there cellists that you admire and whose approach you've followed?
So my favorite performer at the current time is Misha Maisky. He's very famous right now. He's I think born in maybe Israel somewhere.
Yes, I think he is Israeli.
Yeah. He's my favorite performer just because he's so over the top with everything. I think he's
Yo Ma.
yeah. I mean, he performs Shostakovich like no other person that I've ever heard of. It's so exciting, and it always kind of makes you want to listen to it over and over and again, I think. Yes. So when I heard him performing Shostakovich, I knew at that point, oh, okay, this is the work I'm going to work on next.
So he inspired you.
Yeah, he inspired me greatly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's really funny because Natalie Krein is playing at the Sheldonian, playing at the Sheldonian 2 or 3 nights ago in Oxford, the Bach suites. And I remember going to a cello concert in the Sheldonian around 1994.
Oh, wow.
And it's a beautiful place to play.
I see.
And I just was interested in thinking about how what sorts of cello playing, who the cellists were whom you most admired. So clearly, as a young 17-year-old starting out, sorry, that's not meant to sound patronising, as a 17-year-old at the beginning of your career, you obviously are into electricity and energy.
Yes, I think energy and...
So classical restraint is not for you at the moment.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess you could put it that way.
Yeah. It's interesting watching you at the concert, and all cellists sit at the edge of their chairs. But it was quite fun seeing you really getting into that music and the energy and the tossed forelock of hair and all the rest of it. Do you watch yourself perform ever?
I watch videos of myself perform after the concert, and I sometimes get shocked of what I do myself because I don't realise at that point what I'm doing. So I mean, last year, for instance, in my lessons, what the cello teacher kind of told me was to, she tried to make me more relaxed and kind of...
The shoulders are not engaged.
Yeah, shoulders are not engaged, and having my head kind of more up, because when I perform, I guess it slowly goes down, and I kind of
hunch over
the instrument. I think. Yeah. So, it's very surprising to me.
Do you have to pay attention to your physical self? Do you get OOS and cricks in your neck and things like that?
Yes, I do. I mean, a couple of years ago, after I performed the Sang Songs cello concerto with the Bowden Symphonia, at that performance I did a lot of head banging, I guess. And the next morning I remember waking up and I heard a click, and suddenly I couldn't quite move my neck properly, and then I was getting quite scared. So I called my mum. She came and she kind of lifted me up out of bed. And I went to the physio and they told me my muscle here went out of place. So for a month they had to slowly, put it back into place. So yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, yeah. So cello playing is a whole of body experience.
Yes, it is.
And do you take any steps to look after your whole self? Do you do exercises?
Yes, I enjoy doing swimming. Since I was in high school, I was a competitive swimmer as well. So I trained before I went to school and after I came back from school, just because I think it kind of really makes me relax the whole body and makes me fit
Gets
to
the
practice.
breathing
and,
right.
Yeah, it gets the breathing and everything. I think it's a perfect sport for me.
Do you think about your breathing when you're playing?
I guess, yes, when I learn the piece, because as I mentioned earlier on, I think of playing the cello as imitating the human voice. I find bits where I should breathe physically, but sometimes during performances, my breathing gets kind of louder and louder, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And do you watch other cellists? And I mean, you've already mentioned the Israeli
Yes.
hero.
Yes.
Are there others whose persona and technique you keep an eye on?
I like listening to lots of different performers. Performers from the past, such as Pablo Casals.
I have
great.
a friend whose 16th birthday was celebrated by a personal performance from Pablo Casals.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How
yes,
lucky
yes.
is
He was
that?
playing in Wellington.
Wow. Oh, in Wellington.
In Wellington,
New
and he
Zealand,
was
wow.
brought back to my friend's mum's house. And when he found out that it was Stephen's 16th birthday, he said, "So I must play for you."
Oh, wow.
And he played a Bach cello suite
Ooh.
for Stephen on his 16th birthday, which was an act of terrific generosity.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How lucky.
So carry that story, because one
Yep.
day you may be able to do that for somebody.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, that would be great.
Yes. So you admire Pablo Casals.
Yes.
Yes.
And
And why?
why is because when he performs, it seems like speech, I guess, to me. It's very clear what he's doing, his emotions, he's trying to communicate, and yeah, I think his music's just out of this world.
So he's back in the past, and your
Yes.
contemporary
Yes.
favourite?
At the moment, I couldn't say a favourite, but there's lots of performers. But I think Elisa Vierlestein, who recently also came to New Zealand with the NZS to perform with the NZSO. Her performing is also, I believe, out of this world. Yeah, very, very, quite intense. Her playing, everything's quite strong and powerful, which I really admire.
Right. How much of that communication, you said Pablo Casals is as though he was speaking to you through the cello, and the intensity of the voice is there for you.
Yes.
How much is that down to the cello itself?
The cello itself, I guess when I perform, I have to really be one with the cello, so that
What cello do you play?
Oh, so currently I perform on two different instruments. So I've been performing on a Antonio strings instrument for many, many years, which I really still love at the moment. But very recently, I've had a cello made for me from Cremona, Italy.
Made for you?
Yeah, it was made for me, and so I could kind of talk with the violin maker on what kind of style I kind of liked, and even the color of the instrument, which is quite fun. And yeah, I received it, I think, a couple of months ago. So I'm still at the moment adjusting
making friends with it.
Yeah, making friends is a good way to put it. Yeah.
So the cello you played in the Tauranga concert was obviously not that one.
Yes, it wasn't that one.
No.
It was the one that I've always had for a long
Your
time.
Your old friend.
Yes, my old friend, because I still have lots to do with my new friend until I think I can perform with it. Yeah.
So which one are you taking to New York?
I'll be taking my new friend, the Cremonese instrument, to start a whole new journey, I guess. Yeah.
So what are your expectations of your study in New York?
I'm guessing it'll be very intense. So,
because there are, if not
thousands of great cellists out there.
Yeah.
So I'll have to be working very hard. And yeah, I heard that the school I'll be studying in, the Eastman School of Music, is very family-like as well. So it's not just competitive, which lots of American music schools are like, but it's also very family-like. So
that sounds as though it would suit you.
Yes, it will suit me very much. So everyone supports each other and helps each other out. So I think, I'm very looking forward to it. Yeah.
So what's the arrangement? You're going to be arriving in New York with your whole family.
Yes.
And you've got the Carnegie Hall concert to look forward to. When is that happening?
So they'll be on the 5th of July.
Very soon.
Yeah, very, very soon. So only 2 weeks and a half, I guess.
Okay, let's not think about it too much.
Yeah. Away. So I'll be performing my debut performance there, also with my sister.
How does that work, Dominic? You've described the setup for the Tauranga concert.
Yes.
I mean, surely you don't just ring up the Carnegie Hall and say, "Can we put on a show?"
Yeah.
How does it actually happen?
So for this performance, the Carnegie performance, what happened was my sister and I applied for the American Protégé International Music Competition. It was an online competition, which was the first for both of us. So we submitted videos of ourselves performing to the committee. And there was apparently hundreds and thousands of entries that came through from all over the world. And they selected winners for each category and their prizes was a debut performance at Carnegie Hall.
I see. So you're part of a concert gig.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
It's not. I was just thinking, if you and your sister are carrying a whole
Yeah.
Carnegie audience, that's a big ask.
Yes.
So you're doing a set.
Yes, we'll be doing a set each.
Right.
Yeah.
Among other people,
Among
a pianist
winners,
and maybe a singer?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah, I'm not too sure of the
flautist and woodwind and
Yeah.
all that sort of thing. So it's that kind of concert.
It's a concert. So it'll be...
Oh, that's easy.
very-
You just rock up and do it, eh?
Yeah. So it'll be much easier for me this time, I guess.
Yes, so you don't have to worry about the front of house and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it.
Yes. And after that, you start your serious study.
Yes.
So that was kind of your entree to
Yes.
the world of Eastern Seaboard American music, classical music.
Yes. I'll also, after the Carnegie Hall debut, be performing and participating in the Great Mountains Music Festival.
Oh, yes.
In South Korea, straight after that, where I'll be receiving masterclasses and lessons from the great cellists of today's world.
Who's going to be running those masterclasses?
So
Give me some names.
The three cellists that I've been assigned to at the moment is David Gringus, cellist Timothy Eddy, the cello lecturer at Juilliard, and Kyung-Hwa Chung, who's very highly respected in South Korea for her cello playing.
Yes, I've heard of Kyung-Hwa Chung.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, well, that'll be a challenge.
Yeah.
Because masterclasses are, of course, like being kind of dissected in public, aren't they?
Yes, they are very... So I'll be looking forward to it. Yeah.
Well, you'll learn some stuff.
Yes, lots of stuff.
That's
guessing.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you've got how long does the study in New York after those two major events? You're going to be studying in New York in this family atmosphere for
I'm guessing a minimum of 7 years, because I'm wanting to do up to a doctorate degree. So yeah, minimum of 7 years in the US.
So when do we see you back in Tauranga?
In Tauranga,
In a bigger venue.
So I mean, I think I'll be coming back each year for the summer breaks, and I think in a couple of years' time, when I come back for one of the summer breaks, I'd like to hold another concert. Grazia too. Yeah, concert here in Tauranga. Yeah.
Okay. And what sorts of things are you aspiring to perform?
I'm aspiring to perform maybe this time whole works, so not just movements like I did.
That's right.
But maybe complete works, so you know the story kind of flows. Yeah.
Excellent. Can I say that the TePuna Correspondent is going to publish a review shortly of your concert, and the summary of it is, we didn't see enough of you. So we are looking forward to some major performances after you have studied and feel ready to go with them.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to some excitement.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And eventually, is the world your oyster? Are you looking to an international career, or are you just humbly getting on with what's coming next?
Well, I guess God has a path for me already kind of decided. So I mean, and I'll try to follow His paths, I guess, and see what comes up next. Yeah.
Your faith is very important to you.
Yes, I think, plays a very big part of me.
And is entwined with your music.
Yes.
And you're never going to choose between the two. Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
Sounds as though you haven't even thought about it.
Yeah. I guess, I think Christianity is the main thing for me, and then cello's one way I can kind of, be a part or worship. Yeah.
A good place to stop, I think. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic.